listening to Pop This, the podcast where three women talk about pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen, Andrea Gin, and Andrea Warner.
So, is Halloween happening this year?
I think it's in a big way this year. I think there's a lot of pent up Halloween feelings. Is that, I don't know. Is that the right way to?
It's a lot of people have been keeping all their spiky teeth in their mouth for almost 2 years, and now they just want to let them be free. It's so cool.
I mean, I had trick-or-treaters last year, but I mean, I don't find that adults did. And by my house, there was a lane where people went and did an entire Day of the Dead celebration, and that was off last year. So I'm hoping it's back this year. I don't know, but I feel like it's back. Like Justin Timberlake would say, Halloween is back. That's a terrible. That doesn't even make any sense.
Is that his new song?
He's
bringing Halloween back. Yeah.
Honestly, I would rather hear that song than he's bringing sexy back. Because, this is really dumb, but, I saw for some reason, an Instagram post of Jessica Biel's, who I don't even follow, but, it got put somewhere. And it was, him sitting across from her and the Scrabble board ready to go. And, he's giving her, this weird look. And I just was, struck by yet again what a very basic man he is. I thought the Scrabble board was really sexy, although I just can't imagine either of them playing it. But he himself is just such a basic man.
Can I just say that this is our 300th episode. It is a big celebration. We're going to look back at some of the opinions we've had. Do they still hold up? Let me just say that when Sexy Back came out, I was fully on board. I thought, this is a great song. Justin's bringing it. He is. And then there was Senorita. That's
oh my God.
That's 15 or 20 years ago, isn't it?
Not 20, because
it's probably 15,
maybe
for sure.
15 probably.
15. I'll go with 15. And I was all right into it. And then he took that break. And everybody was all like, come on, put out another album. And I was one of those people where's the other album? And now I see the error of my ways. And I'm 100% in your camp. And I feel embarrassed. And I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was the novelty of it.
It's from 2006.
Yeah, okay. 15 years, exactly.
Yeah, 15 years. So 15 years ago, I was a different Lisa, and I think
what changed?
Part of it was that horrible troll song. I think that had a big part of it. I think it just, not that I want to be the one giving advice to celebrities, but I think mystery is a big part of why we like certain celebrities. And there was a certain mystery, a mystique, which has now gone. It went gone. And it really took a turn during that whole I'm man of the woods thing. What happened there?
I mean,
suddenly he was on Jimmy Fallon every week, and I was done.
Well, I think it's when he decided that he was really funny. And I just don't like that foisted upon me. Yes. I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but Michael Bublé, who is kind of funny, keeps it dialed back a little.
Right? He's mysterious.
He's got a little mystery around him. He's also another basic, I think, but okay. He's just less basic.
So where do you fall on Ryan Reynolds?
I love him. I'm sorry,
I like him fine. I don't love that he got married on a plantation.
No,
I know that they have certainly sort of talked about that and acknowledged the mistake. But I like him okay. I also don't really I know he's out there a lot, but he's not hitting us over the head all the time with how extra he is.
I love
And
him.
that's the thing. I love people who are very loud or outlandish or like what you could only describe their personalities as being kind of like, I don't know, just like wildly chaotic and buoyant and weird and dangerous. But I
think he's smart. I think he's funny. I think he has philanthropy. I think he's fun when he talks about Vancouver. When I was listening to a podcast and he talked about stocking shelves at the Safeway at Oak and King Ed, I got so excited. I couldn't wait to go to Oak and King Ed again.
Safeway.
And just thinking about that, there was Ryan Reynolds dreaming of bigger things while he stocked the shelves. I too, Ryan, have dreamed of bigger things. They did not happen in the same way they happened to you. But no, I'm fully on board with Ryan Reynolds. I'm just gonna say that now. You can. I'll. I don't know if I'd scream it from the rooftops, but I definitely. And Seth Rogen, if we're just talking about Vancouverites, were you gonna mention Seth next, or was there some reason you started with Ryan Reynolds?
No, I was just because like he kind of falls into this like a basic celebrity
blandly
category
handsome
for me. Yeah. So Justin Timberlake and Michael Bublé and Ryan Reynolds.
They all do play that same self-deprecating funny thing, which I do find extremely charming. I'm not going to lie. It works on me. It does. It just...
I like self-deprecating charming, but I don't think Justin Timberlake has a self-deprecating bone in his body.
No.
He literally always has a hard-on
for it.
He has a hard-on for himself all the time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Ryan Reynolds has shown himself to be a little more self-aware that he's very lucky and is living a life that he probably shouldn't be living. How about that?
Yeah, you know what life I want? Your living room, because you got bloody handprints all over the walls, and I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
And it's very in keeping with the just dreams I had for myself as a 15-year-old. So can you please tell me more about your bloody handprints? I'd love to know just a little bit.
Yes. So my great pal Bridget, also a friend of the podcast, we've had on a couple of times during wedding month, brought over some stickers for me that she got at the Dollarama, which were just bloody handprint stickers. And so for the next while, we just sipped wine and we worked out a kind of a horror movie story where we put the bloody handprints. So it kind of made... And it's really kind of nasty, and I'm not going to explain it because it's kind of
but
grim.
I wanted the story of why the prints are in the places they are.
You do want the story? Okay,
well, unless it's too graphic.
It is.
Yeah, maybe we don't.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
Well, did you murder people, or were people murdered here, like in your house?
There was a murder in the house.
Okay, but you didn't do it.
Oh, no, I did not.
Okay, just checking.
In fact, the scenario really is that this isn't my house. It's just a house that something happened in. And so we placed the handprints in a kind of a story that went through the house. But let's say the good news is that she is the final girl, so she is victorious. However, during the struggle, she did leave a lot of handprints around the house. Which I don't know. I guess those people come then and they clean it up. I don't know how it all works out.
The crime scene people.
The crime scene people, yeah.
Do you remember that movie where like Amy Adams and Emily Blunt were like ended up being crime scene cleaners? Like I think they're sisters and like they end up sort of cleaning crime scenes.
You know, one of those crime scene people came across my TikTok and I was like, do I follow? No, that's okay. You keep those stories for someone who really, because sometimes I'll look at TikTok just at the end of the day to kind of, oh, this is nice. This is nice.
Oh, hold on. Nice. Are you back on social media?
I look at it. I'm not interacting with it. I don't have any.
You don't make your own TikToks.
I don't make my own TikToks. I don't respond to anybody. I just look at them.
But is that true of like Twitter as well, or are you still totally off Twitter?
Totally off Twitter. I haven't tweeted in a month now. Is that how long?
How do you
we've been?
feel?
You know, sometimes things will happen that I think would make a fun tweet, and then I have to like phone someone instead. And so I'll get one like.
I will say, actually, you message me way less now that you're not on Twitter.
Really?
Like, yeah, sometimes I used to get like, you know, between like 1 and 3 messages like from you a day, like just like DMs. And but like now I realize that, yeah, I haven't heard from you in like forever.
Do you miss me, or
well, I mean, I miss you like. No, like I'm fine. I'm glad with you being off Twitter. Like I want that for you because I want you to be happy. But I just realized like, oh yeah, like I never get any DMs from you anymore, and that makes sense because you're not there.
Because I'm not there. But I did see that the lead singer from Paramore has decided to quit all social media.
Yes,
she made that announcement this week, and I mean, I find that she had a really good explanation, which was needing a distance between herself and fans.
Mm-hmm.
And
that makes sense.
And yeah, and I can see that. For me, it was just that I was listening to a podcast this week with the editor of the New Yorker, and he was saying that was one of the things he never did is join social media. And he said either Twitter to him and the people he sees are sharing some kind of story that is self-promoting.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I didn't want to do that. Or secondly, it's someone who's had a few too many drinks at 2 a.m. and decides to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing good comes then. Nothing.
No,
yeah, I
never.
mean, it's, you know, it's, I get I get why people don't do it. I get why people do it. I myself have like pulled, like, I don't open Twitter as much anymore, and I don't do as many things with it, or Facebook, I would say, but like, I still like it. I still, you know.
I like it a lot. It just wasn't good for me.
Yeah, I like to retweet things and like know about like certain things and, you know, whatever, like, and it feels fine for like, that feels fine for me. But like, I'm so fascinated thinking about like, just when I hear someone like Michaela Cole when she gave that great speech at the Emmy Awards, and like I didn't watch the Emmys, but I watched her speech after, about like just how it's okay to like step away and take time to like create things, and like, you know, I find that really just like very useful, helpful, heartfelt reminders to like, it's like completely okay to disappear from visibility. Like you don't owe visibility to anyone, and you need it, I think, to like often create things that are meaningful and that you know, create art and stuff like that. So I like those encouraging words from different like creatives that I respect, you know.
I think you have to have a purpose for being there. I think you have to know why you're there and what you're doing. And I'd lost my way. And I recognized that. So yes, the answer to the question is I still miss it, but I'm glad I'm not there.
Well, I mean, speaking of a purpose, what is our purpose? Our purpose here on this podcast has been to, I think, really consider the pop culture that is made by and about and for, you know, women. And I think we've, you know, tried to expand to include gender fluid and non-binary folks, and think about like what feminist media is. And this is a very big episode for us. It's our 300th episode.
Well, 300. Congratulations, my lovely co-hosts. I can't believe it, to be honest.
I can't either. So, we'll do a proper introduction. I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
I'm Andrea Gin.
And you're listening to Pop This. And yeah, it's our 300th episode.
300.
I know. And it's almost our 6th anniversary as well. We're like a couple weeks shy of our 6th anniversary.
And let me just say
6 years.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And let's just can we just like get a little bit of bragging rights? I know a lot of people know podcasts now. and I'm not saying we were like the earliest of adopters, but wow, we were ahead of this podcast curve.
This particular podcast curve, yes, I believe so, absolutely. Like, I feel like you guys were involved in some podcast stuff that was like back in 2006, like real early. But 2015 is like a pretty good for this current craze, and how big it has blown up, and like just what it all looks like.
There are so many more podcasts, especially during the pandemic. This is not exaggeration, but I think if you are a celebrity of any caliber, we're talking A, B, C, D list, you have a podcast now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I wonder if people keep wondering if there's going to be like a tipping point where there are too many podcasts. And like right now, I find it hard to keep up with everything that's coming out and, find out like which podcasts are worthy of listening is like having to do a lot of research and reading and finding lists and stuff. And yeah.
It's been interesting seeing it become part of the circuit that a person does with a new album or a new book or a new movie. That podcasts are now part of that. It's not just being on late night TV or getting a profile in the New York Times or the New Yorker. You're on a certain number of podcasts.
Yeah, it's like really like, especially if you end up on a sort of like very high profile podcast, like certain podcasts have like, certain podcasts we know are very, very bad and they have millions and millions and millions of downloads, but like some are very, very good and also have millions and millions and millions. So it's kind of mind boggling. I know that like personally for me in the pandemic, my podcast listening went kind of not like down, but I was listening to different things, and certain podcasts that I have previously really loved, I ended up just like putting them aside. I still say subscribed, and I'd keep them in my phone, but like it took me a while. So like I love the Best Friends podcast with Nicole Byer and Sashir Zameda, and I didn't listen to it for like almost a whole year. And I don't know what was going on in my brain. I haven't been able to figure out exactly what it was, but like there was just certain things that like for whatever reason I just put it aside for like a long time, and I think other podcasts took up precedent, and now I've gone back to like re-listen to it, and I think it was that I didn't want to process the quarantine with other people in that way. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to ignore COVID. I didn't want to bear witness to other people's processing like every single week. Other than like the processing that we were doing, and all the other stuff that I was having to do with everybody else in my life. Like I wanted a bit more of an escape. And so I think that's what like my quarantine listening was like, a bit more escapist.
Yes, I feel the same way.
Yeah, and I'm finding it interesting now to see some productions coming out that were like made during quarantine and sort of don't avoid it. Like I'm watching the new season of Coroner that just came out, and they're doing all their work wearing masks, and like it's like they've just incorporated it as part of their story. But it seems really surreal because I'm used to just consuming entertainment as if like the people and characters in these worlds, like the quarantine didn't exist for them.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see we're going to watch Sex and the City. The reboot will be coming. Not reboot. What would it be called? Sequel?
It's like a new series. It's like an 8-part miniseries, basically.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to cover it or just pretend that it didn't happen at all, or because they've been making it in sort of, I guess, the tail end, we hope, of knock on wood.
Yeah, I was going to say knock on wood real fast.
Yeah, of this fourth wave. I don't know what wave they're in. But I wonder if they're going to incorporate it, because I know some shows that I've watched, like as a reality TV fan, especially on The Housewives, it's been bleak. It's just been the 6 or 8 women stuck in a hotel, just them, nobody else. And then you go, oh, well, this is quarantine. The masks are the least of the problems. It's just boring.
They're not even having like parties anymore. Like it used to be
No.
like different launches, right? And like different, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it's been like, I think like some of the ways that we have handled it during like for the things that we've done, like I know that it was torture for you, AG, but like, 8 to 10 weeks of musicals makes a lot of sense as a distraction for us.
Also, us not being in the same location. We used to,
of course.
record at the library at 6 p.m. every Wednesday. That was a big change.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're like 7 p.m. every Wednesday and in our homes. Wild.
Yes. Okay, it's not that big of a change, but it is a difference.
Easy. Well, it is different because like Lisa, I literally haven't seen you physically.
Yeah, I
like
know. Since
at
March
all.
of 2020.
Yeah, like that's wild. Like, yeah, that's super weird. That really just hit me. Well, let's all cry now.
No. At Christmas I saw you. I saw you on the patio at Christmas.
Oh, I saw you on the patio at Christmas. Okay.
When you brought those treats for me. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And I saw you then. Okay.
Okay, so pull those tears back.
Yeah.
Whew.
And I didn't look any different, so there you go.
Let's face it, our most successful episodes are the ones where I'm weeping, right? Like that's is that just a common theme that people really like to listen to one of us
Nobody
cry?
can see you do the fanning the eyes. I'm good.
So, what are we talking about today? What is this episode about?
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna like just quickly like, I want to like go around and have us like just a little bit reflect on what have possibly been like either episodes that you really loved or like pop culture that you really loved that we talked about, or if your opinions about stuff has changed since we recorded the episode, or if like maybe you've had a real journey, like maybe you like really hated, for example, you really, really hated, I don't know, say like Sound of Music. No, none of you hated Sound of Music. I came around on Sound of Music.
That was you.
That was
me.
Yeah.
What if you really hated Mary Poppins when we watched that, and now you're just like, you know what? No, I've come around on Mary Poppins.
Is that me?
I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it.
Yeah, well, that...
Or if you just still love it, I mean, maybe like we're like, you know what? We did books a few times and I never want to do a book again. Or maybe you want to do a book again. I don't know. So let's dive in here. Maybe Lisa, you're just like, you know what? I liked it better when it was 2 of us, not 3.
No, I love it way better than it's 3.
I know,
gotta be honest.
Me too.
Yeah,
I do too.
much better. I do feel sorry for AG having to watch and all of these things that she used to whenever we would see her. She'd be like, thank God I didn't have to watch that.
Yeah, like I'm sorry you do twice the work, but I'm so glad that you're doing it with us, and I don't want that to ever change.
No. Now we are 3.
Yeah, now you're stuck with us forever, AG.
Forever.
And your choices in movies.
Yeah. I mean, at least
you get to throw some in there.
Yeah, you're throwing some in there too. Okay, so Lisa, like, let's start with you.
Okay, when I was looking over our list, there were a couple of things that stood out for me, and one of them was that I have a feeling, I didn't listen back to the episode, but I do remember my thoughts at the time in March of 2017. I really was enamored with La La Land. I really like...
Oh, I wanted to talk about that too.
Yeah, I was really gaga for La La. And I don't think I'm so gaga for La La anymore. I think that I came down off that mountain, and I feel like, that was a pretty simple story, and I don't know why everybody lost their mind over it.
And it hasn't been that long since it came out, and it feels like it's not memorable in any way.
No.
Like, I can't remember any of the songs. I don't even remember what the story really is about.
They're just like 2 spoiled people that come together and can't get their stuff together, and then they break up, and then who cares? Like,
We should be writing these down for like if we ever have to write blurbs for the back of videos or something.
Yeah, so I definitely think that's one I've come around on because when I was looking at it, I was like, oh yeah. Like,
well,
yeah.
when I recently thought about it because when we watched In the Heights, and it was so excellent on all these fronts. And then I was thinking like this is the same. It's a musical, modern musical, just like La La Land, except this is like everything I actually expect a musical to be. Like it's got great singing, great dancing, and
it was joyous.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how painful, watching La La Land was. It was so depressing. Everybody was so down and frustrated for no reason at all. So yeah, if I could go back, I would definitely make a change to La La Land. However, that said, I remember every single thing I said about Heathers, and I stand by all of it. I hate that movie. I think that is a grim parade of sadness, and it should not have been set in a high school. It makes me very uncomfortable, and I'm sticking with that.
But I mean, it's supposed to be a grim parade of sadness, and being set in a high school helps solidify that. So,
okay, well then,
I know.
Sure, mission accomplished, but I don't want to be on that again. I don't want to watch it again. I don't want to think about it again. I was thinking about it just because I was remembering we actually went to the musical to see it.
I was gonna say I remember making.
We actually, yes, we did go to the musical, and I remember
the
just
musical's
being
so terrible.
Yeah.
Holy
so
crap.
The Heathers week of my life was not great. It was a bleak little moment there. So while I've changed on La La Land, I've become even more galvanized on my Heathers.
I love these journeys for you. That's great. La La Land, I think, gets like, it got like this. I mean, there's a lot of reasons it got like a bit of a pass on so many levels, but like I think like because they had two good musical dance sequences, and they're not memorable ones, but because they had two that sort of stood out during the movie, like I do think it is a relatively cleverly staged one in like when there's like the traffic snarl and all the cars are stopped and like people.
Yeah, that was impressive.
To open the film. Like, I think that looked pretty good. And then when, it gets by on, like, the charms of its two leads. And when they have their, like, kind of dance in the moonbeams or whatever, like, that's, kind of swooningly romantic. And I think, like, that's what it sort of nails.
It's just that it was unnecessarily painful. The calamities that they were dealing with were not... There were no stakes. There were zero stakes.
Yeah.
So I apologize for my affection. That's all.
Your rave.
My rave, yes.
All right. AG, what about you?
Well, so I've only been co-hosting this podcast for a year or so. So
a year and a half.
I didn't really have that many episodes to look back on because it's like,
well, you produced all the rest. Like you're allowed
recent.
to.
But so, okay. In December of 2018, we did an episode on Last Holiday, which was one of those movies I opted out of because I was like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't have to watch this.
That's the Queen Latifah, right? Last Holiday.
No. Oh, no, sorry. Last Christmas. That's
Last
Christmas is different. Yeah, Last Holiday, great. Last Christmas.
I love Last Holiday, actually.
Yeah.
What am I? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to get that confused.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, called Last Christmas.
The one literally based on the Wham song and like
based on the Wham
two
song.
lines. Yep.
And I was like, never, no. And then I listened to the episode, and Andrea Warner is raving about this movie through the whole episode.
Yeah.
Talking about how much she loves it, and it's like surprising because it seems like a terrible premise, but no. It's worth watching. It's good. And so, like, in Christmas 2020, I was like so bored. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch this thing because Andrea Warner like really liked it and really recommended it. And it was the worst movie I've ever seen. I was so mad. I'm still really angry about it.
Because they literally took I Gave You My Heart? Is that why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's almost every single thing about the movie was terrible and dumb to me. And I'm so mad about it. And yeah, that was what really stood out to me when I was looking back on our episodes. Is that like so mad at you for recommending that because it's awful.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since then. I
don't
do
think it's going to become
remember-
one of my seasonal faves. That's for sure.
I do remember liking it more than I should have, and I know that. Will I watch it again? Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Well, like, but like, I will like. Okay, sorry. Okay, that's fair. I can't. I haven't watched it in a long time, so I can't remember exactly. But like, I just remember the performances being a little bit more charming than I thought they would be, and some of the lines and the absurdity of a lot of it just really getting to me. I like strange Christmas stuff. I like.
Yes,
well,
you do.
I mean, also, I do like strange
Hello,
Christmas
Love
stuff. You know
Actually.
that I know. I'm the holiday, yeah, and the.
Hey,
Anyway,
I stick by the holiday. I'm not moving. I'm not shifting.
Hey,
I understand.
That's a different episode.
That's a yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand. But like, I just it's weird because you know how much I despised, which I had never seen before, but you guys insisted that I had to watch it. Is It's a Wonderful Life. Now that's a movie I can really hate. Like that is a
That's as dark as it gets. How is it? That is as dark as a Christmas movie can get. That's even darker than Love Actually.
I'm going to say I would rather watch both Love Actually and Last Christmas as a back-to-back double feature than have to ever watch It's a Wonderful Life again.
Okay.
I'd forgotten
Ever.
about your hatred of that movie. That's
Hate
so funny.
It's a Wonderful Life, and I stand by every second of it.
Well, Meet Me in St. Louis was quite a St. Louis. Is it St. Louis or St. Louis?
Meet Me in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
St.
Louis?
Louis. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not super enjoy that experience, and I watched it. So there you go. That was
I
our
love that.
trying to be a little bit of a deviant from our usual.
I
Christmas.
love that movie. It's a holiday
know.
classic. I've
It's
watched
for
it
no reason at all, but okay.
Other than the beautiful holiday sequence in which Judy Garland breaks all our hearts and sings "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." Yeah,
whatever.
So
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow.
Wow, this podcast is really becoming tense.
Yes.
I didn't predict that happening, actually.
Well, I mean, I hate the fact that I've now seen The Holiday so many freaking times that I have had to basically like acknowledge that there are some good moments to it. I stand by the fact that Cameron Diaz not being able to cry, it does not do anything for me. Although I accept that this has a personal resonance for.
You know what's
Wow,
going to be really...
we're just picking the scabs of the past here.
You know what's going to be really funny? At some point, that question of like, oh, what's the movie you've watched the most in your lifetime? And for Andrea Warner, it's going to be like The Holidays right up there.
Yeah, and I'm saying with Love Actually for me every year.
Yeah, every freaking year. Yeah, so like I can't believe that I've come around on The Holiday. Although I can kind of, because like I feel like some of the things that I really hated about it are rooted in my own personal things around like my own contempt for certain character traits in both nonfiction characters and fictional characters and real life humans. So I know that I have to always work a little bit on my compassion, and it's always a work in progress. But it's, you know, it's sometimes tough. Like I have a lot of issues with sort of like a lot of the classic, you know, characters that Diane Keaton has played. because sometimes they're really rough to me.
Diane Keaton's not even in the holiday. Why are we?
No, I
bringing up
know,
Diane Keaton?
I know, because like Nancy Myers and like I just can't help it. It just like sort of relates
Guys,
back,
we're picking at scabs today.
That's
Okay,
no, but it's
you're
because-
not. Okay, this is
It's
this
because
is
of
foreshadowing my pick for the best thing at the end here. Sorry.
Well, it's because of like the Cameron Diaz like loop around. Like I just feel like there's sort of like a relationship between what I don't care for in certain depictions of those kinds of like sort of quirky harried heroines, you know, and that's sort of sometimes what the holiday feels like to me. But can I say something that I really loved that I kind of like want us to revisit it anew now because it's like 6 years later? Episode 17, and then this time also we would have AG's picks too, so that would be really good. The best and worst fictional BFFs and frenemies. I think that was actually like one of my favorite early episodes because it was just really fun to fight about whether or not people actually were like their characters were BFFs and frenemies. Just
like Paris Geller.
Episode 17. I can't even remember that.
Yeah, like Paris Geller and Rory, and then like Betty and Veronica, and like there's just like Meredith Grey and Christina Yang, and like we talked about all of them, and I think that there's like so many, like now we would also be able to add like Ilana and Abby, and like just like there's just so many more, and like Issa and Molly. Yeah, like I just think there would be like, I would obviously talk about Tuca and Birdie, even though I know that like it wasn't for you, Lisa. Like it would just be like, yeah, it would just be like so fun to revisit fictional BFFs and frenemies. That would make me happy.
Happy to do that for another episode coming up.
Yay! All right, we've got a little bit of time, but like let's hear about an episode that you really, really love.
Okay, can I just say that I admire our commitment to the Gary Marshall experience, that we decided that we would take on all the Gary Marshall holiday movies, whether or not people wanted it from us. We didn't care.
Wanted it from us.
We wanted it from us. And I love a commitment to a project, just as we've been covering that we take on the holiday and Love Actually every Christmas. We have certain traditions. We have kept them up. Gary Marshall, R.I.P. We don't have any new movies from you, but we have done our best to cover your oeuvre.
We still have some that we have saved, and I'm sure that we will dig into soon.
So I'm just hoping that our listeners have admired that particular decision we made, that Gary Marshall was a sort of a secret kind of angel of this podcast, if you will.
Oh my God.
Our inspiration.
Yes, our inspiration.
Wow. Angel inspiration. Ooh, boy. I believe I have insulted his memory numerous times. And I also love our commitment to a project, but I also stand by all the mean things I've said about him as well.
Oh, I don't think we had anything nice to say, at all. However, I just want people to know that when we promise something, we deliver.
We deliver. We really do. You're right. AG, anything in particular that you really loved?
Well, just looking back, I have kind of enjoyed the thread of the Gilmore Girls constantly running through the last 6 years, and our commitment to analyzing the Gilmore Girls from every possible angle and reassessing it every few years.
Yep.
And also not being afraid to dump on the latest Year in the Life that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean,
still hours of our life we won't get back.
Truly. And honestly, actually, Lisa, like since you had recommended that episode of the oh my God, I'm All In with Scott Patterson.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't listened beyond the first couple episodes, but I will go back to it at some point. I find Scott Patterson as a host a little bit stilted, and I know it's because it's just not like a natural thing that he does or whatever. So that's fine. but there are like a few gems. I think I also like his producers that chime in on it like once in a while. Like they hadn't figured out a format yet that really I found worked. So I haven't but I want to go back to it because I know he has like, you know, Miles joins it and he's always got guests like talking about what was going on. And so that's kind of fun. So I actually think that like we're going to have to do another Gilmore Girls episode. Like in the future. I'm
fine with that. Very fine with that.
It feels like
it feels right. It feels like snow, just like Lorelai would say.
Exactly. Like there's still so many things that I love about it so much. Oh, and plus, actually this incredible TikTok that I forgot to send to you guys. My cousin Kamiko sent it to me, and it's like Gilmore Girls characters and are they vaccinated? And it's so funny. Oh my
God, that is so funny.
Honestly, it's genius. It's brilliant. I love it so much. I'll send it to you guys after. Maybe we can put it in like the show links or something. But it's great. It's so great. The person who did it is brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, like I honestly like my own relationship to Gilmore Girls like continues to sort of change all the time, and I like have really like thought so much about like its anti-fatness and like how that is like this thread through the show that is, you know, kind of it just harder and harder for me to like not like ignore, because I probably never ignored it, but I definitely didn't address it as much personally in my first 10 years of watching a show that only lasted 7. But like I kept rewatching it all the time. But like I know for sure that even with like going back and like viewing it in this very different way and with lots of different things in mind about like that it's actually like it has a lot of the attitudes of 2006. Like there's like kind of a homophobic thread running through it. There's like that really oppressive anti-fatness. There's like like sort of microaggressions and racist stereotypes and stuff like that too. Like there's lots of different things that are happening throughout the show. I still have so much warm and like tenderness for it as a show depicting difficult familial relationships, particularly intergenerationally through like its women characters. And
Well, and I mean, I always loved the character of Lane, but throughout the years, she has become kind of more of a hero of the show to me.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, yeah. And she comes out really well in this, are the Gilmore Girls characters vaccinated? So she's like, she's a hero of this as well. So it's going to be really good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. I will say that like, I really have loved so much, particularly like if you can even believe it, it was like I think episode 228 that was like our quarantine like episode, like our first episode in quarantine together, and it was like just we pitched it like as a quarantine catch up because we had pre-recorded a bunch of episodes because I was supposed to be away, so we didn't record with each other for the first like 3 weeks of quarantine or whatever. And I'm just want to confirm that it was like 228 or whatever.
Yeah, it was.
Yep, 228 quarantine check-in. And like that was April 28th that it aired. And now we are on episode 300.
I like how we chose The Net as the first movie we watched during our quarantine.
Wow, that is a standout film too.
Honestly, it makes so much sense on every level. But I just think like, so we've done...
Because wait, can I just say, didn't Gary Marshall love that movie?
I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he did. It was quite prescient, I think we said.
Yeah.
I just think like we've done almost a third of our episodes in quarantine. And this is...
Wow, that is a
kind of fascinating.
Oh my God.
Isn't it?
I had not thought that. Oh my gosh. Me, the person who's so fascinated by ratios. I had no idea.
Well, you know what? It's just sometimes it's fun to do math. And you taught me that, Lisa.
No one can see my puzzled face, but yes.
But yeah, so anyway, we have to, sort of wrap up, but I just want to say thanks for 300 episodes, friends.
Thank you. I can't think of anyone I'd rather spend 300 hours with. And that's...
Oh my God. I hadn't commuted it to hours.
That's
Wow.
there's math for you. Look at me doing math. 300 hours plus all the hours of the watching of movies, reading books. It's been some of the best hours of my life.
That's the one thing. It's a little disappointing is that we couldn't have a live show or do anything, to invite people, the listeners in, to record an episode this fall.
Well, I
Yes.
mean, look, we don't know what's going to happen next year for our lucky 7th anniversary. Like, it won't be 400 by next year, but, it'll be like 350 or something, and 7th anniversary. Like,
And we're we're happy to
come
carry in
celebrate.
all our feelings all the way up to there.
Exactly.
Come celebrate episode 363 with us.
Yay! Well, we like to do odd anniversaries for sure.
Yeah, we've done some weird anniversaries. It's perfect. Okay, so thank you both. We love to leave our episodes on something we recommend. And who knows, we'll probably end up doing episodes on these things in the future. Maybe. So, AG, what about you? Why don't you go first?
Well, I mentioned it a bit earlier, but I've been watching Coroner. It's a TV series, Canadian TV series. There's just a few seasons out. It's like a police procedural crime drama about this coroner named Jenny Cooper, and it's based on a book series or a series of novels. And I'm really enjoying it. It's
Where are
just
you watching it?
On CBC.
On Gem or just on CBC?
It's on. I think it's on both.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Or it's on Netflix as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it's just like, sometimes you need a good police procedural just to.
Oh yeah, definitely I need that. And a cuppa, and you're good.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd recommend Coroner.
Awesome. Lisa, what about you?
Okay, so this is just a very recent thing, but it came my way that Jimmy Fallon and country singer Chris Stapleton did a little viral video called A Film by Nancy Myers. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. They are singing in a beautiful kitchen, obviously, and house. They make reference to every single Nancy Myers film that you have loved or hated, as has been explored on this podcast. And it is just a dream seeing Jimmy Fallon and Chris Stapleton take on the sort of refrain is that if I'm really sad, I just watch a Nancy Myers movie. And everything's in there, and it is fantastic. And I'm going to watch it again and again and again just to make myself laugh. So
It's like they made it just for you. It's
It
incredible.
is like they made it for me. I love Chris Stapleton, too. So,
Oh, great. Well, perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, if you don't know the music of Chris Stapleton, that's something to look up as well.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm also going to recommend a show that's airing on CBC right now, which we didn't plan, but there we go. I've watched the first 3 episodes of Sort of, and it's so good. So I'm just going to really briefly read you the description. Created by Bilal Beg and Fabrizio Filippo. The series will star Beg as Sabi Mehboob, a non-binary millennial trying to balance their roles as a child of Pakistani immigrant parents, a bartender at an LGBTQ bookstore and cafe, and a caregiver to the young children of a professional couple. It is so good. I love it so much. It is fast-paced. We are not dwelling in it is rapid fire. And it's just wonderfully acted. Bilal is great. They are giving a really wonderful performance, but the whole cast is really good. The costumes are good. The things are happening that are just, you're not fully expecting it. There's nuanced characters and interact. Anyway, it's just great, and I love it so much, and I can't wait to keep going through it. So I highly recommend it. It's called Sort of.
I've been meaning to check that out.
Okay,
Oh my God, so
excellent.
good.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank
and it's
you.
it's not like a last Christmas recommendation. I really, truly,
Wow, get a dig in at the very end. Wow. Okay.
I just,
Still so mad. So mad.
but you kept it such a good secret till now. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to everyone who has ever been on the podcast and joined us as a guest. It's been so wonderful to have you. Thank you to everyone who's listened, joined us somewhere along the journey, and will hopefully keep listening and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. You can rate and review us 5 stars on iTunes. You could hang out with us, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you could email us if you'd like at popthiscollective@gmail.com.
And a big happy 300 anniversary to us and all our listeners, and Andrea Gin for being our producer and our co-host in this last interesting year and a half. And I look forward to all the fun we're going to have in the next several hundred episodes. So thank you, my great friends.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye.
Bye.
Yay!